Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I know it's been a long time, but you're tuning in to Watch Me Work by Auntie Tina. Yeah, it's been a minute. Sorry about that. Life happens and, you got to adjust to what happened. So we back though. Watch Me Work with Auntie Tina. It's a Sunday afternoon coming to you live. You already know it's live, right? Yep. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to thank everyone who wished Auntie Tina a happy 50th birthday. I know it's been a minute. September 17th was the day, but it's never too late to say thank you. It was an awesome day, through all the pain and the things that you're going through mentally. I was able to chill and just enjoy the day. So I want to thank everybody who made that possible for me. It's a little sunny out here, so, I'm outside in traffic. All right, I pulled over to make this video. So, again, thanks you, everyone who made it possible for me to enjoy a day. Enjoy that 50th, right? I'm half of 100. I'm almost there, right? I'm going and going. I'm going. As God is pushing me and encouraging me and keeping me still, I'm getting there, right? Almost 100. Almost, but not yet, right? In my right state of mind. So, let's get started. Auntie Tina, watch me work. Today was a good day, right? Yep. So, mentally, you think about, what happened in your life and how situational things occur. And so today, and I don't really share this a lot, but I'm going to share it today, right? Maybe it's a part of my healing process, right? And I'm going to go back just a little bit, right? I'm going to give you some background in it. So most of the people that truly know me, truly know me, right? You have to really know me to know this, right? So most people know that I was police, right, for 17 years. And I walked away, retired in 2014 for this reason, for that reason, but for reasons, right? And so I started working for a nonprofit organization in 2014, in October of 2014. And that job kind of bridged the way or started the process of something that I needed. That God sometimes put you in positions and places that you never thought or never knew, and you don't even know the reasoning behind why you're in these positions, right? Or places. So working with this nonprofit, I was able to, mentor, just be engaged and be a part of ex-offenders coming out of state and federal prison, male and female, right? And it was a journey. It started a journey where what I didn't understand, what I truly didn't understand about prison life, right? So me being an ex-police, of course, some people went to jail. It's just what it is, right? Everybody not awesome, and sometimes people make mistakes or do things that if they would have thought for a split second, they probably wouldn't have done it, right? And they got caught. And so, a part of my job was to, hey, you got to take this L, but you can come out and you can be a better person, right? You can think about the situations and decisions you want to make or you make, right? So, I did that from October of 2014, I sat at round tables. We had these round tables where we'll say, hey, how was your day? Tell me about, your day. Tell me about yesterday. What's on your mind? And, we had these guys, some have did 20 plus years in prison. Some had did 2, right? And so, you hear them talking about, how, my mom or my dad or my kid's mom, or my, kid's father for the females, right? Stopped taking my calls, wasn't sending money, wasn't doing this, wasn't doing that. And mainly for the men, I I had contact with females, but mainly for the men. It started out with just males, in these round tables, right, sitting at, at the church, right, and in a circle, right, and it kind of went like, you'll say, hey, I'm Tina, today, I'm feeling this way because, I went home and, things just wasn't working out for me and blah, 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 right? And so, you'll hear these guys, like our first meet basically, and they'll open up and, like I was in prison for, I was a breadwinner, I was out here doing, I should have been doing something different, but I was doing this because of my situation and opportunities that was afforded to me. So I was a drug dealer, I was this, I robbed, I stole, I killed, I did a lot of different things, right? And I was in jail and it felt like I didn't have family, they just didn't want to be a part of, my life. I feel like they turned their back on me. I feel like they didn't love me. And, and I'm like, okay, and I'm just listening. And I really didn't truly have a lot to say because, again, I hadn't seen that side. Now I have family members that probably went to prison. Of course, we all may have somebody in our family that, went to jail and went to prison and was gone a few years or more than a few, right? So I really couldn't relate, because I wasn't in the situation, right? And let me just say, like, I have 3 adult children, right? My youngest will be 28 tomorrow, October 4th, 28. My youngest will be 28. Look at that. Okay, I'm 50. My youngest 28. And I raised my kids a certain type of way. At least in my mind, I thought I did. I didn't do drugs. I really wasn't a heavy drinker. So, you didn't see alcohol sitting around the house. Didn't smoke cigarettes, so you didn't see that. I didn't have people coming in and out of my house. I felt like I had a great life, and I raised my kids to be awesome. And, I tried to guide them in the, to be successful, right? I put them in position to be successful. And, you feel like you've done your job as a parent, right? And your kids get older and they decide at some point they have their own mind. Not the mind that you want them to have, but they have their own mind, right? And so they may not have always done the things that you wanted them to do, but hey, you still love your kids and you try to support their decision to be grown and try to think for themselves. But I can tell you in 2015, February 2015, my life changed. I used to always tell my kids, I ain't gonna be a prison mom. I'm not going to jail to be up here visiting, bringing money and doing all this, taking, jail pictures. That's just not my life. And that's not what I want my life to be. But you never know. And what you say, people say what I'm not going to do. But sometimes you can't really say what you're not going to do. Because February of 2015, my life truly changed. And it changed in a way that, you just don't, I just couldn't believe what was about to happen in my life, right? So most people that truly know me, know that, my son got locked up in February 2015. And, I'm not going to talk about, what he did or why he did it. I'm just going to say he got locked up in 2015. And I was in a state of shock, to say the least. When I got the news, wow. Unreal. And today, I had to, I haven't seen my son, well, you don't know, but I haven't seen my son since maybe COVID hit last year. So February, they closed the jails down. So, I haven't had an opportunity to see him. So today was the first day, that I can see him. So I grabbed up one of his kids, one of his boys, and we, drove on down to see him this morning, right? And doing my journey today, thinking about, wow, my son will be 28 tomorrow. And I'm thinking about, wow, I'm going down here yet again to see my son behind bars. How depressing is that, right? I'm thankful that I'm able to go see him because I've been worried about him. But it's so depressing, the drive there and the drive back. But, so 2015, he gets locked up. And I'm thinking, maybe it's going to be, not long. I don't know what the situation is. So, you try to get a lawyer, you hire a lawyer, you try to get the things and do the things that, you want to, keep your kids, out in the street with you, right? Free. And, this particular time, I couldn't help him. It was one of those situations where it was nothing I can do. Yeah, I can get a lawyer, the lawyer going to do his thing. But at the end of the day, yeah, it wasn't, he was going to have to do the time. He committed the crime. And I was always a firm believer, if you commit the crime and get caught, you got to serve that. You got to do that, right? And so, dang, how can I be a hypocrite, right? How can I say, free my baby, free my son? And yeah, but I couldn't be a hypocrite, but I wanted to be. But I did everything I could to try to get him out. So fast forward, he goes to jail, and I'm going up to the the jail to go see him. And this jail, like, what happened? You really can't talk on the phone, so you got to go, like, what happened? What is going on? And what he said. He said to me, "Mom, I should have listened. You didn't raise me like this. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking." And he said, "Mom, I love you." And the person inside of me, because I started to reflect back on all those round tables that I had, right? And I'm sitting listening to these ex-offenders talk about, how, people gave up on them and those things. And I'm thinking, I'm like, I told him, I said, "I love you too," over the phone. And then I went to see him in person. I was like, "You couldn't have loved me. How I don't understand, because you don't love yourself. You can't love me unless you love yourself. You didn't love me enough to not be where you are. You didn't love yourself enough to not let your kids not be able to grow up with their father outside of a prison jail." And he like, "Mama, what do you mean?" Just what I said. Because if you loved yourself enough, or you loved yourself at all, you wouldn't be sitting where you're sitting. Period, point blank. And nobody's going to change my mind on that. I promise you. You can have a comment, and I hope you do. Let's talk. Let's have some dialogue. But nobody's going to change my mind on that. I go back to work, sitting in a round table, and and they going in, and my dad, and he did this and he didn't do that, and I'm emotional that day, right? And usually you don't get too much emotion from me, right? You get a smile and all the good stuff, but you don't get the deep, let me bring back all these horrible feelings from, you talk about trauma from a 12-year-old, those traumas that you're still dealing with, right? And you try to do the best thing for your kids and, for their lives, and you hit with this, boom, something you can't change. And so I sat there and I listened to them that day. And I said, wow. They was like, "Okay, do you have something to say?" I absolutely do. And I said, "You all are selfish." Now, I don't have an issue with you being selfish about different things, but you all are so selfish because you cared about yourself. You said, one guy, you was a breadwinner. Selling drugs, whatever it was, you was a breadwinner. So if you were the breadwinner, and your child's mother, your mama, or whomever you were taking care of didn't have anything, how can they support you from prison when you were the breadwinner and you didn't leave them anything? Because why? Because you didn't save anything to leave them anything. So now you want them, because they probably were, government assistance. You said it wasn't working. Now they got to go try to get a job to take care of the kids and the house. But you're selfish. So how they gonna take care of you? What? They didn't love me though. You didn't love yourself. What kind of love you expect from them when you didn't give it to yourself? So as the time went on, my son got sentenced, and he got 30 years. And I sat in court, and I said, oh God, 30. I'm thinking, I'm trying to count up. Okay, I'm this age, and okay, 30. Oh Lord. I'm thinking about his 3 boys, thinking about his sisters, his nieces and nephews. Wow, 30. And I'm thinking about me, 30. Wow. Wow. And I couldn't even, 30. No, 15? 30. Speechless, right? 30 years? What we doing? 30? Okay. So now, because I love my son, I felt like he just imprisoned me for the next 30. Because I can't move about and live my life knowing that I don't know what's going on once he get to prison. We can watch all the movies in the world, and what we think that's going on behind those walls, but we truly don't, and I truly don't. And so I had to pray, and I went to God in prayer. And I said, hey, God, now, I don't normally, question you. But I pray, and I say, protect my kids, cover them in blood, bring them home safely, do all those good things I say, and he woke me up out of a dream. After prayer, because apparently I fell asleep at some point, okay? I'll be praying sometimes, I am sleepy, and I fall on to sleep. But he woke me up to deliver a message to me. And the message was, would you have rather I laid him down? I'm going to say that again. Would you have rather I laid him down instead of sitting him down? And I just cried. And I thanked him. Because he could have laid him down. But he thought enough in the prayers to sit him down. Because the way he was going, he probably should have been laid down. But God, my God loved me enough. Let me say this again. He loved me enough to sit him down. And let me just say, this is everybody's situation is not my situation. Because sometimes God take our kids and our loved ones for a different reason. But I believe wholeheartedly that he knew I wasn't strong enough to accept that. Because God said, I'm not going to put too much on you, nothing on you that you can't bear. And you can say it the way you want to say it. But I don't think I was strong enough if he would have laid him down. And because he know my heart and he know me better than me, he set him down. So when you say, do you love me? I really want to know, do you love yourself? And your actions show and would tell me, do you love yourself? So mentally, am I there? No. Because I'm thinking about when I saw him today, and I hugged him so tight and he hugged me super tight. I'm like, and we had this conversation today. Like, Mama, I'm changing. I'm trying to do better. It's hard out here. It's hard in here. And you truly don't know what they showing on TV. You don't know, Mama. It's just, I gotta protect myself. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta do all these things. And I try not to remind him of the choices that he made. When people say, you're a product of your environment, I truly hate that term. because my son didn't grow up in that environment. So he couldn't have been a product of doing what he did. I call it the product of your choice. That was a choice you made, and the choices we make sometimes, most times, dictate where we're going to be and end up at. So I'm thankful today that my son, and I can still see and talk to my son. But I promise you, it's a daily struggle. Because as the phone rings different times of the night, I pray, but I'm praying that none of these calls are about my children or my grandkids or my family, period. I want to say to you today, if you're struggling with something, figure out what it is and start to love yourself. Figure out how to love yourself. Write down some things that you do bad, that you're not doing great, and some things that you do great about yourself. Like me. My son said, Mom, I want you to be here a little longer. You need to take care of yourself, and, you're gaining weight, Mama, and da. I'm like, boy, bye. And he was absolutely right. Sometimes depression, you don't even know that, you're dealing with certain depressions, and, I was eating and eating and eating and eating and eating and eating. Oh, my God. My clothes are going boop, 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 tighter and tighter and tighter, da. Face getting fatter and fatter. You looking like, you walk past me like, oh, is that me? And it was all the traumas that have occurred in the last couple years that I was dealing with and trying not to deal with. Last year, 2019, 2020, 2021, just the losses that, that we've had in the family, and significant losses. And trying to deal with, those things, and you never get past the first one. And so then you get another one, and you don't know how to deal, and you laugh and smile, and they're like, oh, Tina's great, she always smiling, she always laughing. But deep down inside, I'm absolutely torn apart. I'm trying to deal mentally and try to figure out how to live. I'm trying to live so I can be here for all of my kids, but most definitely my son. Because I'm all he has. Period. I'm all he has, and I don't want him to be left alone. Because I love him enough to try to do what I can, so I'm getting myself together. They're going to get yourself together, right? I got to get myself together. For my family, for myself, first and foremost for myself. Because I was doing undue damage to my body. So it's a progress. It's a process. As I'm progressing to do better, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm getting there. So I'm going to say this to you today. Love yourself. Find ways to love yourself. Talk to yourself. If you got to go in a different room, somebody think you look maybe off the rocker, it's okay. I find myself talking to myself, and I'm okay because I'm self-checking myself. I'm self-checking myself. So the 12-year-old was me, right? And you already knew that. You probably figured that out, right? But the traumas that I still deal with, I deal with. I got trauma on top of trauma. I black out some things, I don't want to hear, I don't want to think about it, so I let them go away. So I can deal with the right now. But I can tell you the right now, the yesterday is still there. And so I take pieces and try to figure it out. In my mind, I try to figure out, okay, how can I do this better? How can I fix that so I won't lose my mind? How do you do that? How do you do that? So when we're in the round table, I ask them, how do you figure out how to love yourself? Because how you expect them to love you when you don't love yourself? Because some of these people in the round table weren't just first-time offenders. They had been in and out. And you wanted them to just, be on a roller coaster ride with you? A yo-yo up and down, up and down? When is enough is enough? Let's talk about it. Watch me work with Auntie Tina. Peace. It's a nice day. Well, it was. It's raining now. See the rain? It's raining now. Next week, I'm going to be back. I'm trying to get me a special guest. Talk about mental illness and what we're dealing with. Because most of the time, our issues are mental. And how do we deal with that? The trauma of losing a loved one. The trauma of being a victim from a loved one. The trauma of being a victim from yourself. Trauma. It's always, right? Talk about things that have occurred in your life and how do you fix it. Still got some time. 6 years down. How many more do I have to go? And I just ask the Lord to keep me sane. Keep me. Hold me so I can be there for my family. Don't be imprisoned in your own self. Don't be imprisoned in your own self. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Watch me work with Auntie Tina. Be on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Holler at me. Leave a comment, concern, a topic you want to talk about. It's not about my life, it's about our life. Teach one, reach one. We can help one. Watch me work. Talk to me, I'll talk back. Peace.